In this lesson, we are going to be continuing with the Leave It training. In this lesson, we are going to be practicing with the dog on leash, and you are going to be in a standing position, and you're going to practice dropping the food on the ground as you say leave it. Now what I'm going to do is show the dog the food. I'm going to say leave it, place the food on the ground, and then I'm going to use the leash to keep the dog away from the food, and I'm also going to start to practice using my body, okay? So, leave it. Good. I'm going to say good when the dog leaves it alone. Block with the body, and I can use the leash. If the dog looks up at me, I'm going to say good and feed. Leave it. Block. Good. And feed. The dog does not have to sit. And you'll notice a lot of the times once you go to pick up the food off the floor in order to repeat the exercise, that's when the dog goes for it. So make sure that you're aware of how much leash you have. And if the dog goes for it when we reach, make sure you block. So the dog learns that they can't go and snatch the food. Leave it. Good, and that's what we're looking for. Leave it. Now, I added that little That should signal to the dog that that's a mistake to go for it. Nope. Good. And feed. And again. And you want to do several repetitions with this exercise until the dog stops going for it when you drop it on the ground. Leave it. Good. That was pretty good there. Let's try it again. Leave it. Nope. Block. Good. And feed. And now, one of those times I said, and that time I said, nope. It really doesn't matter what you say. It's more about your tone inflection. But you may want to stay consistent. Leave it. Good, and that's what I'm looking for. We'll do one more to finish up with so you can see it. And you may notice that your dog goes into a sit position there. It's not required. The reason why most dogs do that is because this dog has probably been taught to sit. And so when they see the food up high, they just automatically go into that default sit. But you should not be asking your dog to sit before you drop the food on the ground, all right? Because in a real life scenario, the dog is going to be moving toward the object. So you're not going to be saying sit and then leave it. You're going to just say leave it. And again, leave it. Good, and that's what I'm looking for. So that means I'm ready to move on to the next lesson. Also notice when I'm doing this that I have the dog on one side of me and I'm dropping the food on the opposite side. What this allows me to do is use my body to block really easily. So I don't want to say leave it and drop the food in between the dog and myself, because that's going to be much more difficult, right, to block the dog. So when you're first practicing this, put the dog on one side of you, have the leash in your hand, and drop on the other side. Leave it, just like that, okay? Good. Once your dog is not going for the food on the floor, then you're ready to move on to the next lesson.